They are the twin titans of European air power, two of the most advanced and capable 4.5 generation fighter jets on the planet. Born from the embers of a fractured Cold War partnership, the Dassault Rafale and the Eurofighter Typhoon have spent 3 decades locked in a fierce, complex rivalry. Recently, Dassault Aviation celebrated the 300th Rafale rolling off its production line, a major milestone. The jet is a global superstar, a symbol of French technological pride, and a string of recent high-profile export victories has made it a darling of the defense world. Many have crowned it Europe's most successful fighter, but there's a problem with that narrative. Because while the Rafale has been winning the headlines, its rival, the Eurofighter Typhoon, has been winning the numbers game by a factor of 2 to 1. This isn't a simple story of one jet being better than the other. This is a story of 2 fundamentally different philosophies, of clashing national ambitions, and of a battle for the soul of European air power. So which aircraft is truly the more successful? To answer that, we need to go beyond the numbers and dissect the design, the doctrine, and the brutal politics of the global arms market. To understand these 2 jets, you must first understand their bitter divorce. In the early 1980s, 5 major European nations, France, Germany, the UK, Italy, and Spain, came together with a grand vision to build a single, unified fighter to counter the next generation of Soviet threats. But from the very beginning, there was a fundamental disagreement in philosophy. The UK, Germany, and Italy, positioned on the front lines of the Cold War, wanted a purebred, no-compromise, air superiority fighter. They needed a hot rod interceptor optimized for high-speed, high-altitude combat to shoot down Soviet bombers and their fighter escorts. France, with its global commitments and independent nuclear deterrent, needed something different. They needed an omni-role aircraft, a versatile workhorse that could operate from their aircraft carriers, conduct deep strike missions, and perform air-to-air combat, all in one package. They were unwilling to compromise on this multi-role, carrier-capable requirement. The visions were incompatible. In 1985, France famously walked away from the project to build its own national fighter. The result was the Dassault Rafale. The remaining 4 nations pressed on, creating the Eurofighter Typhoon. This split is the single most important factor in understanding their respective stories. The Typhoon became a consortium fighter. With a guaranteed domestic order book from 4 major air forces, its production numbers were always destined to be high. It was an industrial triumph, but also a political beast with 4 masters. The Rafale became the national fighter. With a smaller initial domestic order, its production was slower. It was a testament to French self-reliance, but it meant Dassault had to fight harder and smarter for every single sale. This origin story explains the production numbers, but the export battlefield tells a very different story of success. For any modern fighter program, the true measure of success is often found in the export market. And in the last decade, this is where the Rafale has mounted a stunning comeback. The list of Rafale customers has exploded. Egypt, Qatar, India, Greece, Croatia, the United Arab Emirates, and Indonesia. Dassault has been on a winning streak. So what is the Rafale's secret sauce? First, the omni-role promise was fulfilled. From day one, the Rafale was designed to be a true multi-role platform. A single Rafale can be configured for an air superiority mission, a deep strike mission with cruise missiles, or a maritime attack mission, all with minimal changes. This flexibility is incredibly attractive to air forces with smaller fleets that need each aircraft to do more. Second, and this is crucial, is strategic autonomy. When a country buys a Rafale, they are buying a French product, largely free from the complex export restrictions of the US ITAR regulations. It's a political statement. For nations like India or the UAE, which navigate a complex geopolitical landscape, buying French is a way to acquire a top-tier capability without being drawn fully into the American security orbit. Third, carrier capability. The Rafale M is one of only 2 non-US carrier-capable fighters on the market. This gives it a unique advantage, as demonstrated by the Indian Navy's selection of the Rafale over the FA-18 Super Hornet. The Typhoon has had its own export successes, primarily with Saudi Arabia, Oman, Qatar, and Kuwait. These were massive, valuable contracts. However, its path has been more complicated. The very consortium model that guaranteed its production numbers has sometimes been a liability in the export market. Getting four separate governments, each with its own political agenda, to approve a single sale can be a diplomatic nightmare. The most famous example is Germany's periodic blocking of further sales to Saudi Arabia, creating uncertainty for potential customers. So while the Typhoon's numbers reflect the industrial might of its four-nation base, the Rafale's recent surge in customers reflects its success as a tool of strategic diplomacy and a triumph of its flexible design philosophy. Let's put politics aside and look at the hardware. How do these two aircraft stack up in the air? The Eurofighter Typhoon is, at its core, an energy fighter. It is an absolute monster in terms of raw kinematic performance. It has a higher thrust-to-weight ratio, a higher service ceiling, and superior acceleration compared to the Rafale. In a beyond visual range engagement, this is a huge advantage. It can climb faster and fly higher, imparting more kinetic energy to its missiles, like the world-class Meteor, extending their range and no escape zone. With its massive, powerful Captor-E AESA radar, the Typhoon is arguably the most formidable, non-stealth air superiority fighter in the world. It was built to be a purebred interceptor, and it shows. The Dassault Rafale, by contrast, is the thinking man's fighter. What it may lack in raw kinematic performance, it makes up for with sophistication and integration. Its defining feature is its Spectra electronic warfare suite. This is not just a defensive system, it's an offensive and defensive sensor. It can detect, locate, and jam threats with incredible precision, giving the pilot unparalleled situational awareness. The Rafale's sensor fusion, the ability of its computer to take data from its AESA radar, its optical sensors, and spectra, and present it to the pilot as a single coherent picture, is considered by many to be the best in the world outside of the F-35. It's a cognitive fighter designed to win not by outclimbing the enemy, but by outthinking them. Its omni-role nature means it is just as comfortable launching a Scalp cruise missile at a target 500 kilometers away as it is dogfighting. So we have a classic matchup. The Typhoon is the specialist interceptor that was adapted into a multi-role fighter. The Rafale is the purpose-built multi-role fighter that also happens to be a superb air-to-air combatant. The biggest challenge for both the Rafale and the Typhoon hasn't been each other. It's been this: the American F-35. In nearly every recent European fighter competition, Switzerland, Finland, Germany, the result has been the same. European nations are choosing the American stealth fighter over their own domestic products. Why? First, stealth. It's the price of admission to the fifth-generation club. For air forces planning to fight in the high-threat environments of the 2030s and beyond, low observability is considered a non-negotiable requirement. Second, networking. The F-35 is more than a fighter. It's a flying sensor and data node. For NATO allies, the ability to seamlessly integrate and share data with the vast American fleet of F-35 is a massive force multiplier that a 4.5-gen European fighter simply cannot match. And third, cost. Due to the massive economy of scale from the US and its partners, the unit price of an F-35A is now often cheaper than a brand new fully equipped Typhoon or Rafale. This has effectively split the market. The F-35 dominates among close-knit US allies. This has relegated the Rafale and Typhoon to a different market niche, nations that either cannot, due to political reasons, or will not, for reasons of strategic autonomy, buy the F-35. This is the space where the Rafale, with its independent French backing, has thrived. So, after 3 decades, which fighter is truly Europe's most successful? The answer is that they represent two different, but equally valid definitions of success. The Eurofighter Typhoon is a monumental industrial success. It is a testament to the power of European cooperation. It successfully equipped 4 of the world's most advanced air forces with a world-class air defense fighter, creating tens of thousands of jobs and sustaining Europe's aerospace industry for a generation. Its success is measured in scale, industrial collaboration, and its role as the guardian of European skies. The Dassault Rafale is a triumph of strategic and technological self-reliance. It is the story of a single nation going its own way and producing a machine so flexible and politically independent that it has become the go-to choice for rising powers seeking a top-tier capability without strings attached. Its success is measured in export victories, global influence, and a recent undeniable market momentum. There is no single winner in this grudge match. But the Rafale's recent surge demonstrates that in our complex, multipolar world, the promise of technological excellence combined with strategic independence has become one of the most valuable commodities on the global arms market. The rivalry is far from over, but for now, the momentum is undeniably with the French superstar.